Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. Since some weeks we are discussing a topic pertaining to grandparenting and grandparents. We had discussed grandparenting. Then we came to discuss the grandparents. And today I am going to discuss the good news for grandparents and then what is the way forward. This is the stage we have reached, and for recapitulation, I'll just invite your attention to last couple of slides which we discussed last time, last Thursday, and then we'll take up the today's topic. Last time we discussed that there should be an intentional productive aging process. As we age and we move towards old age, there should be a conscious effort, an intentional productive aging process should be adopted. And what is productive aging? It refers to contributions, whether they are paid or unpaid, of the older people for them, for their family, and for the society. And we had reached the stage where we discussed that conventional social structures, we are talking about social structures, and discriminatory systems, public and private, family structures, family systems, these are all discriminatory against the old people. They limit the participation of older people in important roles. Consequently, these discriminatory systems prevent optimization of outcomes. The contribution they can make, that is limited for them, for their families, and for the society, for the humanity. Now we come to today's topic. Personal benefits of grandparenting include, when the grandparenting takes place, the older people, they are not parenting but grandparenting their grandchildren. The benefits include positive psychological outcomes, reduced depressive symptoms, because they get company then for themselves also. It's not only that it's benefiting the grandchildren or the family, but it is benefiting them also. Quality of life, physical health, cognitive health, and the studies also show that even there is low mortality in the grandparents who have intentionally and consciously taken up grandparenting as their role, as their duty, as their responsibility. The studies show that they have the benefit of lower mortality. Now let us see what is the US scenario, the United States scenario, and then we will come to the way forward under the legal system in the US. Economic security, health and long-term care of older people are major challenges of population aging. Aging population, their ratio, their percentage is increasing in US and in entire Europe, in Japan also, in all the developed countries. These can be addressed by problem-focused approach. What are the problems of the old age, of the older people? Solution-focused approach. We usually discuss the problems, but we don't offer solution. We have to now focus on the solution also. And then the social development approach. It's not just we are going to employ the older people or just employ them on duty to look after the grandchildren, but we have to take into consideration their social deployment, their social development, their social engagement. They are to be deployed in the social services and they are to be engaged socially. National Family Caregiver Support Act. Now we are talking about the laws. Last time I said that we'll talk about the laws also. This act was passed in 2000. It focuses on services for caregiving and caregivers. If we want to take up any project for the older people in US, we have to study this act and we have to see what we can do within the legal frame. It calls out grandparent caregivers and encourages development of services. In United States, in AARP, it's an organization. It's basically an insurance organization, service organization, and they are doing multiple, so many other jobs. AARP provides online information about grandparenting. If you want to see some information, find some information, we have to go and find some information on their website. We'll get a lot of information there. There are models of intergenerational housing projects. Intergenerational housing projects where people live together. There is a question from our friend Javed Raza. I don't know what is the problem. Perhaps I think today we are facing a lot of problems. That there is a problem of communication. Kindly open, Mr. Javed Raza, kindly open your mic and say, speak out, speak up, if you can. Although I'm not receiving any response, any voice from any side, because there is a problem in understanding, in communication today. And this is a technical problem. There are models where 3 to 4 generations are living together. We generally have an impression that in Western societies, only there is single generation living together, but there are multiple intergenerational housing projects which have been constructed, which have been developed so that multi-generations can live together. Grandparents house in Baton Rouge, for example, in Louisiana, and where children and grandparents receive supportive services from the government, from the organizations, from NGOs. However, large majority of grandparents do not receive financial help or government support for which they are eligible. They are not getting it because they don't know about it. They don't apply for that. They don't take the benefit of these projects. There are housing projects with a lot of facilities and incentives where intergenerational, and these are called intergenerational housing projects where multiple generations can live together. But we are not taking advantage of these benefits, these facilities. National Alliance for Caregiving and AARP in 2009 estimated that 65.7 million Americans, that is 29%, provide unpaid care. This is a very good vital service. They provide these services, the grandparents, although they don't get any financial benefit, but the grandparents are looking after grandchildren and they are not being paid and they are not taking any benefit. Objects which are, as I've shown, the majority of them do not get any benefit, although the benefits are there. About 13% of these caregivers are over 65 years of age, although they are old, more than 65 years of age, still they are looking after their grandchildren. Number of older caregivers will increase as baby boomers. That is after Second World War. There was baby boom. Now they are aging. That is why the Western world is aging. As they age and they have to care, they have to provide for the care for the family members, and they have to care for themselves. And how they can care, we had discussed last time, and if they plan for their productive aging. Demand for caregivers in their 60s and 70s will increase. Now, more responsibilities of caregiving are coming on the shoulders of the older people. With the growth of over 85 population, now the age expectancy is increasing, and people over 85 years of age, their numbers are increasing, and they are coming forward to look after their grandchildren. Majority of caregivers are women. However, the analysis shows that in these categories, women are more than the men. Most of care recipients are older people with disabilities. But the older people who have no disabilities, they are themselves the care providers. They are themselves active in grandparenting and providing care also. Now, there are some studies, there are some census, US Census, Pew Research Center, and there are certain other studies, and these are very interesting. 3 million children are cared by custodial grandparents in legal issues when the families break up. 3 million grandparents, the courts have given them the custody of the children. So they are custodial grandparents, and they are doing grandparenting. They are grandparenting. 7 million grandparents, including non-custodial grandparents, have grandchildren younger than 18 years of age living with them. They are looking after children as old as 18 years also, and even more. As for non-residing grandparents, 33% provided between 50 and 199 hours of care, and 5% provided 500 or more hours of care a year. Look at the depth of the studies, how these studies have been made. They have even calculated that how these old people are contributing in grandparenting, and particularly in giving care to anyone else. And on the calculation of the early services shows that they have even provided 500 hours of care in a year. Older people engaged in caregiving are not paid. As I said, the majority is not paid, which is estimated at $100 billion annually. The older people who are giving care, who are caregivers, who are not paid, but their contribution to the economy, to the GDP, to the society is $100 billion annually. In caregiving, wages and social security benefits not paid to women. Women don't charge. Mothers, grandmothers, they don't charge. They are not paid. Are estimated at 4,000 million, and for men at 233,000 million. Look at the contribution they are making, but also look at the consciousness on the part of the NGOs and the government and the public here, that they are taking care of these things so minutely and calculating so minutely and looking into these details. Recent Federal Commission on Long-Term Care report calls for trained family-centered care. When we look at the communities, where do we stand? We don't have any training family-centered care for our grandparents, from our older people. National Council on Aging policy priorities include development of caregiving assessments, Federal Senior Core Program. Now these are different programs and acts which I'm placing to you to kindly consider these, form some NGO, organize the society, organize the community, to whatever community you belong, so that we can take benefit of these laws and these benefits. Federal Senior Court Program includes foster grandparent program. Since most older people do not know about these programs, they remain unrepresented in these programs and service programs in general. There's another act of 2009. It includes several provisions for older people, but we don't know. We don't take benefit of these acts. Although the foster grandparents who are looking after their children, grandchildren, and senior companions programs target low-income older adults. They provide facilities for them. They provide subsidies for them. But we don't know about these acts, and we don't have any NGO in our communities to take benefit of these things. The Serve America Act, there is another act. The name of the act is the name of the act which I'm referring to 2009. This is a separate act from the acts which I've already discussed. This is called the Serve America Act 2009. This is a separate act. Serve America Act promotes service to older people of all socio-economic backgrounds, low-income groups, even better income groups. They are providing services for them. Under this act, it provides $1,000 silver scholarship, higher education award to older volunteers who contribute 350 hours of service annually, even to their children, and is transferable to children, grandchildren, and foster children. If you earn this much hour of service, these hours of service, whatever hours of services are at your credit, if you don't take the benefit, these can be transferred to the children in the family. Similar to offering tax credits, property tax, work-off programs for older people offered by municipalities, they offer tangible benefits to older adults in exchange for their time. We are not taking any benefit. We have seen that most of the time we meet together, we discuss various things, but we are not taking any advantage of these laws and the facilities which are available with financial benefits. Community can organize programs that help connect older people to volunteer opportunities, either by providing listings of volunteer opportunities or by matching older adults' skills, experience, and interests to opportunities represent promising models. Now, all these things are available in the laws. I'm simply trying to sensitize that these things are available and other communities are taking benefit, whereas we are not taking any benefit under the law, and it is a social responsibility also. Some of these programs, for example, AARP Experience Corps, Reservice, they offer stipends to participants which cover some of the volunteering costs. It's not all the time you are not spending from your pocket. If you take up the caregiving as volunteer, they support you financially also. Despite evidence that older people generally engage in multiple productive roles concurrently, Muslim community seems to have remained non-connected or out of network or marginal to utilize these opportunities. But in most of the cases, wherever I have discussed, they just don't know about these laws and about these facilities and about these opportunities to organize and serve the people, serve the humanity, serve the older people, and serve those people who need care. There's urgent need to develop communities' institutional structures that inform, train, and support older people in these networks. Some suggestions in this regard. Setting up NGOs where we can train. I go to the last slide, where we can provide information, we can train and support, and endowments. We need to create specific endowments for older people. Old house is not just the solution. We need endowments for the older people to look after properly and take care properly of about their all the needs of old age. Organizing community for programs in these areas, caring elderly for what? At least in 3 areas: independent living, assisted living, old housing, old houses. Old house is just one solution. It is part of the whole total program. Grandparenting, training, information, support, and assistance, and form a core of elderly volunteers. Make them active so that they remain active. And in this regard, as we have given a presentation of, I think about 6 lectures on this subject, starting from grandparenting, if you agree, I propose that a combined presentation of all these, condensed presentation, precise presentation into one presentation. If you agree, we give it to the leaders, to the leading groups, to the leading associations, organizations of our community here, like ISDH, like Meet the Professor Lunch, Meet the Professor, Power Lunch, iSeek, Golden Club. There are so many opportunities that we can mobilize them, and some of them can come together to form these NGOs and take benefit under the laws, even financial benefits for the services of old people, grandchildren, and also the humanity. So thank you very much. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.